From the outside looking in, it can sometimes appear that peak performers have an elusive talent or skill that sets them apart from the rest of us. However, what usually sets peak performers apart isn't what they can do, it's what they will do. You are listening to the Trading Edges Podcast, the podcast dedicated to seeking and sharing the best ideas and principles from peak performers across all domains of performance and achievement to help you discover your full trading potential.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. This is Houston, and welcome to episode 23 of Trading Edges. In today's show, we're going to have a conversation on the nature of beliefs and how they affect our trading. As well, we're going to get into why developing awareness is really the central tenet to successful trading. Let me first start with a quote that was popularized by Tharp. You do not trade the markets. You can only trade your beliefs about the markets. And here's another passage from Tharp. What does it mean to say we only trade our beliefs about the markets? Let's look at some statements and see what you believe about them. Number one, the market is a dangerous place to invest. True or false? Whatever your answer, you're right. The market is a safe place to invest. True or false? Again, whatever the answer is, you are right. Wall Street controls the markets and it's hard for the little guy. You can easily make money in the markets. It's hard to make money in the markets. You need to have lots of information before you can trade profitably. Again, are those statements true or false? And however you answer them, you're probably right. So do you see a theme here? Your opinion about each one of these statements is correct, whatever it happens to be. And as Tharp says, there is no real right or wrong answer here. Some people will have the same beliefs as you, and others won't. But that's not important. What is important is to understand that our beliefs form the basis for what we do. Our beliefs direct our behaviors. And your beliefs direct your thinking and your subsequent actions. If we group all of our beliefs together into a collection, they form our collective identity. They form, our individual identity. So if you get this, what's the problem, right? Where do we go wrong here? Here's the issue. Somewhere along the line, most of us have created beliefs that may have once served us, but may no longer serve us. Let me say it again. Your beliefs are neither positive or negative. Simply put, somewhere along the line, the beliefs that used to serve you no longer serve you. Let me give you an example. Let's say, for instance, that you grew up in a family where you were praised for achievement and performance. That is your grades, your manners, your rule following, your people pleasing, your appearance, and how well you did in sports. Somewhere along the line, you probably adopted this dangerous and debilitating belief system where I am what I accomplish and how well I accomplish it. Guess what? Your need for external validation takes the form and identity of being a perfectionist. You see, we often think of perfectionism as a positive self-developmental trait, but it isn't. For those folks who are true perfectionists, perfectionism at its core is all about trying to earn approval. So let's think about how this may play out in your trading if you're a perfectionist or someone who has perfectionist tendencies. Maybe you're unable to take losses, the losses that you need to take because you don't want to quote unquote appear wrong. You see, that's the fear of failure. Maybe you have issues with performance, that is, being unable to execute the trades you need to trade based on your plan because you can't stand the uncertainty of not being right and getting approval. Maybe you have an overly judgmental inner critic. Ask yourself, what does the voice of your inner critic sound like when you're trading? You've had a string of losses. Is it constantly berating you, criticizing you, and telling you that you're not living up to expectations? So here's the rub. Here, you created a belief system for yourself that once protected you. In fact, it probably got you pretty far in the real world. However, in trading, it no longer serves you. In fact, these beliefs have now turned on you. This is why every trading psychology text out there talks about the importance of being aware of the beliefs that we carry. Empowering and enhancing beliefs can carry us to great things, but disempowered and self-limiting beliefs drag us down. The trick is that most of the beliefs that we have about ourselves are often unconscious, which makes them very difficult to examine. As the saying goes, the unseen is always the parent of the seen. It's never the opposite. Let me say it again. The unseen is always the parent of the seen, never the opposite. In neuroscience terms, the lower brain co-opts the higher levels to get what it wants. That means the subconscious is what is driving our behaviors. And the job of the subconscious is to protect us from harm, not to produce positive results. The job of the subconscious is to protect us, not to produce positive results. Most of the literature around changing our behavior talks about this long process of changing our beliefs by examining our beliefs. And usually it's kind of a look in the rear view mirror approach, right? Where it's only after something has gone wrong, like after we've blown up an account or taken some bad trades, where we can do the post-operative analysis or triage and determine whether or not our limiting beliefs were at play or to blame. This approach works, but it's not the only approach. So I'm going to share with you a framework that I'm developing, as well as introduce you to some exercises for you to begin to unravel the nature of your beliefs and how to begin to deprogram and reprogram your limiting beliefs and get at the core of what's driving your behaviors. And the framework is as follows: awareness, transformation, and intention, or ATI. Awareness, transformation, and intention. In this podcast, we're going to spend our time talking about the A, awareness. However, the transformation part and the intention pieces will have to wait for another podcast because it's just too much ground to cover in one show. So let's talk about awareness. The first step towards freeing yourself of limiting beliefs is simply to begin with awareness and understanding. Because we need to be aware of what the problem is in order to change the problem. Notice, I'm not saying solve or fix the problem. I'm simply saying change the problem. Furthermore, awareness is always the first step, because if you're not aware